What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back again with another video. A little bit of a emergency video, I guess you would call it. Real quick one here. We're going to be talking about Simon Benoit, and he signed a one-year deal with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Again, just another depth signing. So if you guys are new here and you're a fan of Maple Leaf content, make sure to like this video and subscribe. Join the squad. I've been getting a lot of complaints about the background. Don't worry, I'm working on it. Some cool stuff is coming up. But today we're here to talk about Simon Benoit. Also, guys, go to Manscape. 20% off with my code APH. You get 20% off and free shipping with Manscaped. So click the link down below, 20% off APH. We'll get to that later in the video. But go ahead and utilize that. As hockey season's coming up, boys. We gotta be using Manscaped. But we need to just make a video about Simon Benoit. I'm getting more and more excited. I don't know about you guys, but when it comes to the hockey season, every time I see even a minor signing, a little trade, even if it's an AHL signing, whatever it is, I'm getting excited no matter what. I cannot wait for the hockey season, and that's why we're just going to talk about this today, regardless of what you guys want to say about how big of a signing this is. But the Toronto Maple Leafs announced today that the hockey club has signed defenseman Simon Benoit to a one-year contract worth $775,000. Now we'll get into more specifics, but Benoit is 24 years old, and in 137 career games with all with Anaheim, he's had 15 points. Now people are probably looking at that and going, first of all, that's not a lot of points. But what you should be looking at is the fact that the guy is pretty big. I believe he's like 6'3", 210 pounds. Like, he's a big boy. And we'll get into those numbers in a second. But more and more of these depth signings are starting to puzzle people because of the cap. The Leafs are more than likely going to be utilizing this guy with the Toronto Marlies. They'll just bury his cap hit for the most part. And there's pretty much no chance that he starts the season with the Maple Leafs. Now, I guess I can't really say that because I think the Leafs are trying to maybe have some internal competition when it comes to guys like Mark Giordano, as much as people might not want to hear that. Everybody loves Gio, but he's getting older, so it's a little bit of an internal competition because I'll kind of explain to you guys the way that Simon Benoit plays. And then even a guy like Timothy Liljegren, whose ceiling is much higher than a Simon Benoit. But what the Maple Leafs are saying here is, look, if this guy outperforms you and plays a lot better than you, I don't know what's going on outside. There's a noise. Hopefully that's not my computer, but I'm pretty sure that's outside. But if Simon Benoit plays better than you, then he's going to be the guy that enters the lineup. It's not going to be you entering the lineup. But again, I wouldn't really suspect Simon Benoit to beat out somebody for a spot right away, right out of camp. But what I do want to show you guys again is the fact that he is only 24 years old. That cap hit is pretty low, and he did play for the Anaheim Ducks last year. So any sort of criticism or, things that you want to talk about in terms of his numbers right off the bat, the Anaheim Ducks last year were statistically one of the worst teams that you could ever see play hockey. And I went on vacation this year in April. I went to WrestleMania in Hollywood, and I seen a Ducks game as well. We traveled to Anaheim with my girlfriend's family, and their arena was a little puzzling. It almost felt like a junior arena. I actually really liked the layout, which a lot of people might think I'm nuts for that. But when I was watching the product on the ice, they're very sloppy. The team didn't look like they had any sort of collaboration on the bench. I was 4 rows from the ice, sitting right beside the Ducks bench. There wasn't a lot of chatter. There wasn't a lot of yelling. They looked like a defeated team, and that's basically what the Ducks season was. And again, I don't have a scouting report on Benoit because I wasn't really focusing on him. I don't even know if he was playing in the game that I went to. But like I mentioned before, his numbers, he took a bit of a jump in terms of points because he played in almost every game. In an 82-game season, he played 78, so he's pretty durable. 10 points in those 78 games played. Again, this guy isn't going to score the lights out. He's not going to impress you on the score sheet, but we'll get into what he really does in a second here. Taking a quick break to let you guys know about the sponsor of this video, Manscape. Hockey season is coming up, and we all know it's important to stay fresh and protected on and off the ice. And well, Manscaped is here to help us do that. I've got the Performance Package 4.0 with me. I've even got my travel bag, and it's perfect for the dressing room. Inside holds the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer. It features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to help reduce accidents down there using its advanced skin-safe technology. It's also waterproof and has an LED spotlight for a more precise shave. Next up is a game changer, and that is the Weed Whacker Nose Hair Trimmer. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof and has proprietary skin-safe technology. That's going to help nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate nose holes. You're also getting the Crop Preserver below the waist deodorant and Crop Reviver below the waist toner. And like I mentioned earlier, Manscaped threw in 2 free gifts with the Performance Package 4.0. That is the Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. Get 20% off and free shipping with my code APH at manscaped.com. That's APH for 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Now back to the video. So the bread and butter for Simon Benoit is what we're going to be looking at here. So there's good and bad when it comes to this guy. And again, shout out to Money Puck. Thank you for posting stuff like this. I think that this is a great website. But if we're looking in 2022, and this would be the last season, obviously, there's a lot of numbers on here that are good and bad. Okay, so hits 216. That's a ton of hits, right? That's a lot of hits. He's top 25 in the NHL in hits, if I'm not mistaken. And then you'll see shots blocked, 128. That's also very good. I believe that would put him top 3 on the Leafs, and we'll get to that in a second as well. Takeaways 9, giveaways 35, and 29 of those giveaways were in the defensive zone. So that's not very good, considering he only spent about 20% of his shifts in the defensive zone starting. He actually, that's his, I guess that's kind of a big number, but when you consider his neutral zone starts were pretty high, pretty close to that number, and he had a lot of shift starts on the fly. They don't utilize him in the offensive zone, so more of his starts are in the defensive zone, but that's a high number of giveaways, especially considering most of them were in the defensive zone. Now, again, I want to bring up hit leaders because I'll bring you back here. He had 216 hits last year. The year before that, 168. So he's going out there to hit people. So that would put him by a wide margin tops on the Leafs. And I know people will go right away to Luke Schenn, but Luke Schenn, sorry about that. That's not what I need right now. But Luke Schenn played not a full season with the Maple Leafs. So if he did, he'd probably be tops, but this is a huge increase in hits for the Maple Leafs. And again, I'm not expecting this guy to get in the lineup that often, but he throws a ton of hits. And then when it came to shot blocks, if you go back to his number, he had 128. And then you look at the Leafs, that would put him top 3 on the team in blocked shots. Now, again, TJ Brody, I believe, missed some time last year. Yeah, so he only played in 58 games. So even if you're top 5, especially as a defenseman, that's what you want to be. You know, you got a guy like Matthews there. You would push him out of there. You don't want Matthews blocking that many shots. Well, you do, but at the same time, you'd rather the guys that are out there to block shots, getting paid to block shots, to do it. So a guy like Simon Benoit, he blocks a lot of shots. He hits. He fights. I don't know. I think he scrapped Tom Wilson a couple times. He throws some big hits. I believe last year he had a pretty good tilt with Mason Marchment after a big hit, which was super unnecessary. But this is kind of the depth piece that the Leafs want to bring in to potentially push guys to play heavier and harder. But it's also the type of guy that's more than likely going to be a heavy hitter for the Toronto Marlies that the Maple Leafs will call up whenever they have a big assignment and whenever they have a game that they, potentially need a fight. Maybe they need a hit. But he fits in with kind of some of the newer style players that the Maple Leafs have brought in, like a Ryan Reeves who throws hits and fights. A Max Domi who's a little bit of a pest, a Tyler Bertuzzi who's a bit of a pest. It's bringing in guys that can complement the skilled guys and the offensive guys. So 6'3", 208 pounds. The guy is big. I can't believe I've been talking about him for nearly 10 minutes, and that's no disrespect. It's just you guys can just see how excited I am for the season, for the Maple Leafs this year, and hopefully you are too. Like I've been mentioning before, make sure to sound off in the comments what you think about the Leafs bringing in Simon Benoit. Will he make the lineup? Will he be with the Toronto Marlies? You guys can tell me that. Again, I love hearing your feedback. I posted on my community tab the other day about letting you guys make trades if you were the GM. I'm going to be making a video about that very soon in the next few days. But I wanted to update you guys with this. Make sure to stick around for the player previews. I'm filming this video and then posting it right away. There should be a John Klingberg player preview being posted later on this afternoon or this evening. Make sure to go check that out. Also, like I said, 20% off at Manscaped. Use code APH. That's code APH, Andrew Piluk Hockey, for 20% off and free shipping with Manscaped. I'd really appreciate that. It definitely helps me and the channel. But the way to do it here, liking and subscribing helps me the most. So make my dreams come true of being a full-time content creator. But I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Let's sound off in the comments. Simon Benoit, new member of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Love and appreciate you guys as always, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video or stream. Peace.